I'm Bishop.
And I'm Dr. Steph.
And we're so happy to have you once again to this YouTube community. We're so excited to have you on our page, and thank all of you so much for joining us right here in our life, our journey,
our truth.
And we're so excited. Listen, many of you reach out to us and let us know that this is blessing you, and that inspires us, keeps us going. And we just want you to know we are committed every single week to making certain that we bring you content that we know can be a blessing to your life. Now, I want you to do a couple things. One, I want you to follow Dr. Steph right there on Instagram, drstephwalker. Follow me at drstephwalker3. I want you to go to our website, drstephwalker3.org, for more information about books and content and other things that we believe will be a blessing to you. Now, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and
make sure you subscribe.
Gotta subscribe. We want you to subscribe and be a part. So we believe that that's what this community is all about, connecting people to resources and making sure they get the resources they need. Listen, we're gonna go right into this subject. Mine, yours, ours. Do you know how many people have asked me about how do you handle money in marriage?
Yeah, get that all the time.
And boy, we're gonna deal with it today, because I just know a lot of people, you know, particularly when you are successful prior to meeting someone, you come in with, you know, your own pot, your own investments, the things that you've done, and you have this person who has their own stuff, and now you're like, wait a minute, we just met, how this is gonna work out, or would I trust this process, that this person's not gonna just take me for everything I have? So it's important that you really have that real conversation about how do you manage your money, how do you appropriate those things in order that you can reach your goals together. And I think that's important. The first thing I'll just say, I'm gonna drop it out here, we'll talk about it, let it be number one. Transparency. You gotta be honest about it. You cannot be out here, you know, hiding. And you just got, look, this is what it is. It is what it is. And that means you gotta be honest about your credit score. You gotta be honest about your debt. You gotta be honest, because when you bring somebody into your life, you can have somebody with an incredible, you know, credit score,
credit history,
come into your life, and you not being honest about that, and you bringing everything down, right? So it's important that you have transparency. Sometimes that's a tough conversation, but it's necessary, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I always say, like just like I think these kind of conversations need to just come in just like your everyday conversations. Like, where are you from? Like, how many kids are in your family? If you guys are serious about taking things to the next level, then you cannot move to the next level without understanding how they handle their finances. Like, that is huge, because it's not just about like, oh, how much money do you have? It's not about that at all. It's about, are you capable of making wise decisions? Do you put yourself into debt, you know, without having a plan of getting it out? Because that ends up being a burden on that other person. It's about like a history of like what you do with what you have, being a good steward of what God blesses you with. That doesn't just speak to finances, it speaks to giftings and other things as well. So it's not such a narrow conversation. It's really like a box that opens up to a whole world of characteristics that this other person has in store.
Which, here we are, number two, that how you handle money speaks to your character.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a character decision.
Because when you borrow money, you don't pay it back, then you're lying and stealing. I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. When you take something with the intent and promise of giving it back, and then you don't
do it. It's poor character.
That's a character flaw, right? Like, it's different if there's an emergency and something happens and you run into a snag. But if that's something that you do time and time and time again, that's a character flaw.
So do you think that people who have different incomes significantly, for example, one person has this, you know, extraordinary income, you know, they have the income, and this other person, they go to work, but the income may not be what the other person's is. And do you think that should be equal distribution of those funds?
Are you talking about before marriage or after marriage? Because that's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
Like, before marriage, what's yours is yours and what's mine is mine, right? Because at the end of the day, it is what it is. You haven't put a ring on this finger. What you got is what you have. What I have is what I have. We can share. I can, you know, treat you, you can treat me, we can treat each other, we can do whatever. But in terms of, like, I'm just a big proponent, don't act married before you are.
Well,
That's dangerous. Like, don't do it.
Let's go and address the elephant in the room. Mm-hmm. A lot of people ask about, they come to me.
About prenups.
Prenup.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that a prenup is useful for some people and not useful for others. That's a fancy way of saying, like, to each his own, right? Like, for some people it might work, for others it won't. Like, for us, I don't believe in prenups in terms of for our specific relationship coming together. And the reason for, this is a very real conversation that we actually had, right? Like, very real conversation. Like, if we're already talking about prenups, then you are planning for divorce before we even get married. Like, I am not leaving Harvard, leaving my career, moving clear across the country, and you're already planning for when you're going to leave me. Are you kidding me? I am giving up and sacrificing way too much. My career, my life, everything that I know, and you are asking me, I didn't ask you to marry me.
So let's pause. But that's you.
Yeah.
You said for some.
And that's
why she said that, right?
Yes.
Because there are people.
You have to know your value and what you're giving up and what you are bringing to the table.
Yeah.
You can't make demands if you don't have anything in your pocket.
Boom. And that becomes really the issue. A lot of men come to me privately.
Yeah.
And they're like, I love this person. Or women who would say, I love this guy.
But they're not.
I've got a career. I've been doing this. And this person's just getting started. Or they may not have the network that's near what I am.
Yeah.
Do I just, put all my stuff out there for years?
It can serve as a protection mechanism, right? But you also have to ask, why are you asking for that? What is it about this person that you're concerned with and why? Because if you are already having those concerns, why are you getting married, right? Now, if you guys are both in the same place and space and you feel like you trust them unconditionally and you're doing this for financial planning and you've got really great reasons and it's not because you don't trust them, like if any one of your answers from 1 through 10 is because I'm not sure if I trust them, then you shouldn't be getting married.
Shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be doing it. Yeah.
If you have to have really solid additional reasons for wanting them, and it should not be something against that other person's character. Good. Because if it is, then that's probably not the right person for you.
Wow. A lot of people ask about that, and I hope that really bless you. I know you're going to get a lot of comments.
Yeah.
I already know it.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We want you to flood the comment section. We want to know your thoughts. Yeah, each his own. It doesn't fit
everyone. It's not
everyone.
wrong or right.
Yeah.
It's whatever is right for your current situation. And I know people who didn't have very much, and they were still getting, prenups just because they wanted to make things clear in the event of a separation or what have you. And I think it also depends. Like sometimes your finances are tied up with your families. Maybe you've got this inheritance. Maybe you got a family business. Maybe you've got other people who you're responsible for who are tied into your finances, right? Yeah. If that's the case, if something were to happen and that person gets a portion of that, they're not taking away from you. They're taking away from your family's legacy. That's not fair. That's not right. They didn't earn that. And so in those cases, yes, of course, you need that. You want to be able to protect. It's not even about you. It's about the other aspects of your family life, your assets, exactly.
Yeah, so protect the assets, man.
Yeah.
Protect the assets, preserve the legacy.
Yes.
Protect the assets, preserve the legacy. Because ultimately, you do have to think about your children's children. You have to think about perhaps what you inherited and making certain that you may be the first generation that broke that thing of poverty off of your bloodline. Yeah. You don't want to put dysfunctional patterns in place that return back to that. That's important. One of the things, just in terms of, and I'll pivot a little bit, in terms of just a practical way in which I think we manage
our money.
For example, we have family, we decided, okay, here's the pot. Mm-hmm. Pay attention, let this bless you. Here's the pot right here. Boom.
And everything
goes in the pot.
No matter where it's
coming from, it goes in the pot. And then we decided, okay, you need to have
your own pot.
Mm-hmm. I had to have my own pot.
Kind of like little cups coming out of the pot.
And you go do what you're gonna do with your little pot. I'm gonna do what I'm doing with my pot. But when my pot is up, I can't come back to this pot until next month. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is
it's kind of like an adult allowance.
Adult allowance, yeah.
And it's because we were both very independent people, adults living our own life, doing our own thing. No one wants to be like, wifey, can I go do this? Can I go do this? I need money for this. Like, why would you do that, right? I don't want to be like, oh, husband, I got to go get my hair done. I want to go shopping. I want to go out with my friends. Yeah. I don't want to do that, right? Like, you want to be able to live your life. He wants to be able to live his life, but you want to do it responsibly. Yeah. Like you both have financial goals, so you're using the big pot for your financial goals, and you're using the small cups to play and do what you want, right?
That's important, right? Because when you make that big pot, you can leverage that pot and do much more when you think about getting a house and moving forward.
Yeah.
That's what that big pot is for. But you do need that independence. You do need to be able to make certain that you're able to go, if you want to go shopping or take a trip or you want to go to a restaurant, that comes from that smaller pot or own individual. That's a great word, adult allowance. You need an adult allowance. And you got to be reasonable about that in terms of like, what is that and how do you prepare? You know, one of the things I think is important is how you prepare for the future.
Yeah.
Right? You got to prepare. People of God, people everywhere around the world, listen to what I'm telling you.
Please.
Prepare
for the
future.
Yes.
Delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Learn the power of those assets that grow in value. Appreciating assets versus depreciating assets. Learn about Rule 72. Learn about things. Get the book. One of the books that changed my life was The Millionaire Next Door. Oh my God. Like, you know, we often think that when I get ready to go out, I gotta go buy an outfit. Homecoming, I gotta go buy an outfit. I gotta go get some shit. And you don't realize, man, that most people that have significant amount of wealth, man, these folks riding around, you know, in cars, you would be like, wow, why are they driving that car? If you knew their net worth, because they've learned to put, and I'm not saying you can have a nice car, because Lord knows I love cars, I love clothes. I'm saying that you ought to be in a place in your life where you can do that and you don't feel it.
Right.
If you have to feel everything you get, you're like, oh, this may not be good for me. I want that car, but I feel
out,
it. Yeah.
Not credit, debit, debt.
Yeah, just debt. And you end up house poor, you end up in a situation where you're like, I got a good car, but I can't
afford to fix it.
Yeah, it's just totally crazy, right? So I think for us, we think about this idea of the pot. We're always thinking about legacy. We're thinking about our kids. We're thinking about leaving an inheritance to our children's children. We also are thinking about we're very independent people and how it's important for us to have our own freedom and our own independence. To do what we have to do. And I think that's incredibly important. I do think
and it creates a balance as well. So yes, we are married. Yes, we are together. We have a sense of unity. Yet at the end of the day, you don't want to lose your individuality in your marriage either, or your identity in your marriage. You don't want to be constantly feeling like a child going to the other person, begging or asking for permission to do things. So it gives you the freedom that you need, yet at the end of the day, you're still able to set your goals and achieve them based on what you guys want to do for the future.
That's good. So, you know, we talk about this whole mine, yours, and ours. I'm going to tell you something funny.
Uh-oh.
This is funny, right? So this chick, like, right here, like, when it comes to money, she good with that. She good. But when it comes to other stuff, like her closet, my closet, her restroom, mine, that's mine. Stay out. Right. That's mine. Stay out.
I hate to share.
Oh, gosh.
I hate to share. Like, I'm a very giving person.
I have to teach our children
so I give everything, right? But when I get home, I just want like my stuff to be my stuff. I'm super organized. I'm super OCD. When someone touches something, I can tell that they touched it, they moved it, they twisted it, and it drives me nuts. When I use my little Troom, I want it to look just like it was when I left it. When I go into my closet, I want everything to be exactly where I left it. When I go to my sink, I want it to be exactly where I left it. Period. I don't want to see your fingerprints. I don't want to see that you stole my lotion. I don't want to see that you borrowed my toothbrush. I don't want to see
get personal now. You see how this is getting personal? I stole her lotion.
Every day.
My lotion.
Every day. Every day.
See what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. Like this whole my stuff, our kids grow up. This is mine. Joseph didn't want to brush his teeth unless he got my toothpaste. I want this to like, where does this come from? from his mother. But I'm saying that to say that, even though this happens, we have fun with it because I think that it allows us to have our own independence. Never get so regimented that you don't appreciate a person having their own space, their own independence in the relationship. And I think that that's what's important, right?
But then coming together for the important things and planning for the future.
No, absolutely, absolutely. As we get ready to close, I really believe that every single person in a relationship with someone that you're serious about needs to have those transparent conversations.
Yes.
You need to get to a point where you can be honest about your financial situation, but also be willing to say, if we come together, we have to come together having similar values, similar vision. We're locked in on where we're trying to go, and we can build together. And when you build together, it's a beautiful thing, right?
And I would even say sometimes your perfect match are like sometimes opposites attract, right?
Lord.
And so let's say if two people are coming together and one person doesn't handle money well, but the other person does. Well, common sense tells you that the person who handles money well should handle the money, right? Like, should be in charge of making sure that you guys are financially and fiscally sound. Like, don't be the person who can't handle money and is the one in debt talking about, I need to be in control of the money. That's just foolish. It doesn't make sense. And it's to the betterment of you both. And so that's not saying you can't marry somebody who has bad credit. That's up to you. That's up to you. I'm just saying, like, if you do, just make it make sense for you.
Yeah. So, I think that's the final thing, right? Just make sure the decisions you make around your finances make sense to you. And no pressure from anybody else. But they have to make sense for you, make sense for the person that you're with. Because I really believe this is about legacy. And I believe that as we think about how we flow what we do, we're very cognizant every single day that we're better together. How we can work this together to achieve our dreams and our goals. And yet sometimes you got to help your spouse put the brakes on. Say, you know what, we're going to take a month and we're going to pause on all the spending and see where we are. It's just a lot of cool things you have to do.
Are you looking over here?
No, but I'm just saying, all right, we're not going to the mall this month, And we both got a shopping anointing. We do. We'll be honest about that. But end of the day, we just want to make sure that you understand that when God blesses you with money, I do this all the time. When I teach on money, talk on money, God bless you with money, you have to be a good steward of it.
Yes.
Take your hands right there while you're watching this. I want you to take your hands like this. I want you to look at it. Just look inside of your palms. While you're watching me right now, look inside of your palms. I want you for about 15 seconds to think about this. How much money went through your hands that you wish you could get back?
And then you have nothing to show for.
Jesus. I think I need a ginger ale.
Yeah.
I think I need some Toms. You think so? I think somebody need an Advil.
Yeah.
Jesus, right?
Yeah.
That's that feeling when you're like, this is great.
Gosh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So whatever comes to your hands, be a good steward of it. Yeah. Get a God first. Pay yourself. Pay your bills. Right? Do all the things that are necessary. Pay your taxes. Do all that stuff. And make sure that you put back, man, and save. I think that's what it's all about. So we thank y'all. And we were kind of honest today, weren't we, about this pot? And I think it's important that people see that because I think a lot of folks don't realize that we can do it together. And we are better together.
Yeah.
It just works that way. So God brings you together with someone, have that transparent conversation, be real about it, and let's just do it, man. We want to see you win out there. We want to see your family win. Hey, so thank you so much for listening today. Listen, I want you to follow Dr. Steph. Follow me. If you have any information you need, we'll get it to you. I promise you we'll get it and we'll connect you. Get a financial advisor.
Yes.
Get a financial advisor.
And it doesn't mean that you have to have $1 million.
No.
It just means you're walking into the bank, you're saying, I have a life plan. This is what I want to do with my life, and this is where I'm starting.
That's exactly right.
And that's okay.
Totally okay.
Your bank will help you.
They'll help you. They'll help you, or some brokerage house will help you. So,
all
right. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you for being amazing as you always are,
Thank
girl.
you,
All right now. So I'm Bishop.
And I'm Dr. Steph.
And until next time, peace.